Okay, so we start to speak about PowerShell, how to use PowerShell or CLI. Okay, like I told you, we have two language. The first one is of course the Bash, and the second one is PowerShell. So I can run it through Cloud Shell here, and I can run PowerShell. He will create for me a 5 gig. Okay, so he will mount a storage. This storage is a 5 gig storage space. It's an Azure file to make your file persistent. Okay. Uh, what does it mean, persistence? It means that if you reconnect to the Cloud Shell from a Mac OS, from another computer everywhere in the world, you will have linked to your Azure Pass this 5 gig. Okay, so if I show you exactly what is it, it's a persistent files in Azure Cloud Shell. So it's used to for your Cloud Shell. Okay, so he will create a resource group like this. He will create a storage account like this and a file shell. So if you see a new resource group named Cloud Shell Storage, please don't remove it. It's it's Azure who created that for you. You have a storage account which created like CS something, CS, and also the file share here. And here you can, for example, create a file share in another region, another storage account, okay, and it's secure by default. Okay, so yeah, no problem. Okay, so let's go back to our here to create a storage. So I'm going to create a storage. Okay, and we learn how to use Azure PowerShell. So when you are in Azure PowerShell, okay, you have now I'm in PowerShell here. So see, I can see that I have this Windows. I can make it bigger like this or smaller. Okay, I can put it in a big screen or toggle it in a half screen. I can switch in a Bash language if I prefer to use PowerShell. I can here restart Cloud Shell. I can go in the help of PowerShell. Cloud Shell overview, Azure PowerShell reference, how to copy paste, and privacy and terms. You have here the text size, the font, and the reset user setting here. You can upload if you want some JSON or what you want in the Cloud Shell. Here, upload. And this is open a new session, and you have an editor here, editor. Okay, open editor. It's this. Okay, it's not very nice, huh? Really. I don't like it a lot. The editor. Okay, so I can close the editor if I don't want the editor anymore. Um, I can put it like that. Okay, and here now I'm in Cloud Shell. Okay, and how do you close it? This one, I think it's. I don't know if I type quit. I'm not. Oh, no, it's not quit here. It's the. Oh, we have a way to close it. Okay, I can do that and do it again. Doesn't matter. Okay, I never use the editor, okay? So never use this one, okay? Editor is really not good at all, okay? So I can go here on PowerShell, and for example, I can start to create to run some command. So he's loading the Azure PowerShell. It's the AZ PowerShell module. It's a special module with based on .NET Standard, okay? And works with PowerShell 7.0 and 7.1, okay? Because you know that now since PowerShell 7, you can install now PowerShell on Mac or Linux. I don't know if you know that since PowerShell 7, you can install it now on Mac OS and Linux. Did some of you maybe manage PowerShell on Mac OS or Linux or nobody?
Nope, not me.
Okay, so you can also install Asset PowerShell on your Windows or Mac OS. This is the best practice for me. Or you can use Azure Cloud Shell or inside a Docker container. Okay, so you can even um, use PowerShell in Docker. Okay, so you can find some available image, so Ubuntu, Debian, and you can do a pull, so you do a Docker pull Microsoft Azure PowerShell, and you can run all after the Azure PowerShell in mode interactive. Okay, so meaning that you can even um, install PowerShell. Now we have even the version 9, so yeah, it's changing every day PowerShell. Okay, so the authentication is done automatically. Okay, because if I type who am I am test. Okay, this is the user. And if I do pwd, I see that I am in test here, home test. So here I can do, for example, md lab 1, and I can do cd lab 1. And if I do pwd, he tells that I'm here in lab 1. So if I do get module and I tap list available, I can see all the modules that are actually loaded here. So I can use Azure PowerShell for everything. For example, this is the core, or maybe I need PowerShell only for billing, for automation. Maybe I need only PowerShell for Azure Compute. Maybe I need only PowerShell for Cosmos DB, for container registry, Cosmos DB, Data Factory. Data Factory is the ETL. Do you know what is ETL? Nobody knows what is ETL. ETL is extract, transform, and load. It's used by a product very known, that is Azure Data Factory. Azure Data Factory is the factory uh, who can take uh, all the type of storage in who comes in, and he take the storage and he can create another type of storage if you want. Okay, so it's very known, this Azure Data Factory. So you can take, for example, all the type of database and take the database and create another type of database. For example, you have CSV here, he create SQL. You can have SQL, MySQL, Cosmos DB, Oracle, Sybase, all what you need. So ETL is very known with data integration, okay? And it's a very big solution used by quite all the company today. Do you understand what is doing Azure Data Factory?
Yeah. Yes. Yep.
So you have Azure for DNS, Azure for IoT, for Custo. You have everything here. Azure for MySQL. Okay, so this is the model. Uh, so if I want to see all my VM, the you know how PowerShell is it? PowerShell is a combination, okay, of modules. What is a module? A module is just list of function here. So if I want to see all the command of the module compute, this is to manage my VM. I can do this command. I can do get command, and I can say minus module, and I can say I want all the module of to manage my VM. So if I do enter, he will display all the command only for compute, like set a VM, remove a VM, restart a VM, save VHG, save VM image, and new AZ VM. So if I want to create a new VM, I can say new AZ VM. If I want to get all my VM, it's get. Okay, so remember that PowerShell is starting by a verb. Set something, update, add something, get something. Okay, so this is the Azure VM. Okay. Did I share my screen? My webcam? Yes. Yes. Okay. Yeah, that's good. Okay. Yeah, I have my webcam. That's good. Okay, so if I want, for example, to get all my VM, okay, so I have get, so if I want to get my VM, I do get az VM. And if I do that, he will show me only one VM, the VM I created just before. Okay, I can see the NIC, the OS type, but I can have more than that, okay? Because if I do a get AZVM, get AZVM, I can do minus this and I can do control space, okay? So if I do, normally he does that, no? Oh yes, that's it. Now if I do tabulation, I can say give me all the VM in this resource group. The name, I want all the VM in this location. The status is the VM is the VM is running or not. The display int, the user data, and resource ID, and I have some parameter that you find on all PowerShell command, like warning action, variables, debug. This is for all the command, all PowerShell command. You will have this default parameter. So I can say, give me all the VM in this resource group name. So for example, if I say, give me all the VM in this resource group name, I can do a copy and I can do a paste here. And when I do that, he find only one. If I make a mistake and I do that, of course, he doesn't find any resource group with the name rgdemo VM1. And the error code is resource group not found. Okay, so this is in red. You can see the operation related to this get EasyVM, the status here, the reason phrase not found, and the error code. Okay. Okay. So before doing some exercise, maybe you don't want to use the Azure Cloud Shell. So you can now go in your VM that I have created, this VM, see? Remember that it's the VM that you created this morning. And on this VM, on a jump box here on this VM, I can go and start ISE, okay? ISE, what is it? It's the graphical PowerShell. So with this ISE, I can start to use my this PowerShell was really better than this because this PowerShell is not done by, it's not for editor. Okay, the editor is really horrible. You cannot do anything here. It's really okay. It's not serious. Okay, it's for me. It's not interesting. So if I go back here, so if I go to my VM here, I can install my AZ. I have a free way to install my module. I can do it with PowerShell get, and this is the recommend action. Okay, so um, since if I see my version of PowerShell, if I do a get host, uh, get host. Okay, I'm in PowerShell 5.1. This version you will find it on all the Windows box. You find it on Windows 11, Windows 10, even on Windows 2020. Okay, you will never find other PowerShell version than the 5.1. Why? Because now we have a new version 7, 8, and 9. And if you want to install it, you must install it. And it's a core version. Core version meaning that now you can install PowerShell with this on this computer, or you can install PowerShell on macOS or Linux. So if I want now to install PowerShell on this computer, I can install the PowerShell with the um, uh, with the uh, PowerShell get. Okay, PowerShell get is a way to install PowerShell with PowerShell get. Okay, PowerShell get. If I show you here, get module uh, list available, you will see that on this computer here, I have PowerShell get, okay? Normally I have PowerShell get, that's it, okay? So PowerShell get is a way to go on the internet and to install a module, okay? So let me, for example, install I'm going to go here, I'm going to do a comment, because I don't have the hash code here. So I'm going to go here and type the hash code, okay? And first step, install the AZ module. So to do that, you have to type install module, and you will give the name of the module. Do you want AZ for compute? Do you want AZ for DNS? Do you want AZ for IoT? Okay, so if I don't say anything, he will install all name the AZ module. Okay, and I can type a force, so he will install it directly without asking me if I want or not. Okay, so but it depends about what you need. Okay, so uh, okay, so this is a way that if you can install, of course, the AZ module. So if I run now this line number 2, I click here, and he will install now from internet. He will go on the PowerShell repository, okay, and I do yes, and now he will install all the module of of Azure. So maybe you don't need all the module. Maybe you need only the AZ compute if you have to manage VM. Maybe you need only AZ DNS or AZ SQL if you are managing a database. Okay, so if you install AZ, he will install PowerShell for all the modules, so you will be able to manage all the type of resources. The second way to install it is to install through MSI. So to install from MSI, what you can do is that you can go on the release, GitHub release. I'm going to show you. So this is the, I'm going to send you by chat. Where's Teams? Oh, Teams is here. So I can install also, go and chat here. Where's my chat? Oh, here's my chat. So I'm going to just send you by chat this. Okay, and on the URL I just sent you, you can open it, and you can see that I have all the release that I want to install. Okay, depend about which release you want to install. 5.1 is okay, but you can have all the release, okay, of PowerShell. Okay, so here you have all the release of PowerShell. You can see a lot of information about PowerShell. And you can install it on a Docker, remember, okay? So you can also use a PowerShell. You can do a Docker pull if you want, and he can create a special Docker. It's very nice. So you have to do a Docker pull. So this is CLI, okay? You do Docker pull here, and you run the Docker run IT interactive, and this is PowerShell, okay? When you see this is PowerShell, okay? The name of PowerShell. So that's it. And after you can remove the Docker if you don't want anymore. You do remove the Docker here. Okay. So actually, I install it with my. That's it. And okay, I can update also my PowerShell when I want. I can also download offline installation, like I told you with the MSI. Okay, and after I need to connect to Azure. So to do that, uh, I will have to connect to Azure. Okay, because I'm not connected on my subscription. So the next one is to connect on your on your tenant. Okay. A tenant is your subscription that's finished by on Microsoft.com. I don't know if you know that, but we don't talk about what is a tenant. But does somebody here in the training can give me a good explanation of what is a tenant, please? Nobody? Do you hear me or not?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay, sorry,
Uh,
because
a
sometimes I
tenant, no, no.
you never
Yeah,
yeah you know
where all where all the resources are together.
yes
This
yeah
is your tenant.
yeah it's more or less it's if I go here and I go on my Azure AD for example, it's all your so it's your a tenant is because in a tenant you can have more than one subscription. Okay, so watch out. Okay, the
Yeah.
tenant is on Microsoft.com. Okay, this is the tenant by
Okay. Yeah.
default.
Yeah.
It's not there's a subscription, but the subscription is not linked to a tenant. Oh no, I mean no. You must have one subscription in a tenant. If you don't have subscription in a tenant, you can create only user and like API, Microsoft Graph, for example. But here's the name of my tenant. This is my tenant ID. Okay, so if you have multiple tenant, you must use PowerShell to say on which tenant you want to connect. Okay,
Mhm.
okay. So he's still doing the work here. Uh, Let me talk you about the third solution to use PowerShell. The first solution is the best solution. Is to use. Do you know Visual Studio Code? Who is using with Visual Studio Code?
I
I am
know it.
using
Sorry,
both.
who? Um, Andy or Tom or Michael, do you use Visual Studio Code?
I use
Yeah.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah. I think most of us use Visual Studio Code.
of course, of course. Why most of you use Visual Studio Code? Because in this morning when I did the introduction of every participant, I think there were only one guy who were interested by Microsoft Graph API, for example. Why do you use Microsoft Visual Studio Code for PowerShell?
That's my main reason, yes.
And the
Yeah.
other?
Same here for PowerShell.
Oh, okay, okay. Because otherwise, here I have a Microsoft Graph API where with C Sharp I am connected on Microsoft API to list my inbox and email. Okay, this is for one of the goal of this training is to talk about Microsoft API, Graph API. That's why I was quite strange when I received this demand on the training is to talk about this because normally when you're talking about Graph API is more for dev guy, but I will talk about Microsoft Graph API. You will have a small exercise, but it's really high deep, huh? It's deep dive, huh? So, so I think that I will give you the information after you can do the exercise because otherwise it will be too long. Okay.
Okay.
This morning I talked with somebody. It was at 8:30. It was for. It was. I don't know.
That was with me.
Oh, it was with you. Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry. So, is it this sort of thing that you're interested in?
Yeah. I'm kind of interested in it because at the moment I'm just using the Graph Explorer, and yeah, um, to me it feels like posting or getting a command and just
Okay.
throwing a line in a big bucket and hoping for the correct result.
Okay.
That's just generally how it feels to me.
Okay. You will show me after. Okay. It's possible to see your screen. If it's
Yeah, but it's on a different environment.
okay. Okay. Forget it. Yeah. Maybe it's critical. So okay. So
Yeah.
so Now that I've installed my module. Okay, if I go in a CD program files in Windows PowerShell in module, I can see now that I have all my module has been installed here. Okay, do you see everybody? Okay, all is here. So I have here all my AZ. This change with the PowerShell 7 because it's not the same place. Okay, for that I can go here in CD env and do a deer, and I can see the I can see the PS module path. Yeah, that's it. All the modules that you put here are loaded automatically when you start your computer. Okay, so when you put a module in this, okay, I'm not gonna pass. It's not a partial training, but it's a partial training on Office 365 and Azure. Okay, so now I need to connect to my tenant. So I typed connect AZ account. When I do that, let me do something first. This is otherwise he will not be happy. So if I go on my, I'm going to take the name of my account here. So if I run this one, he will connect. He will open my IE Explorer, but IE is not working anymore because IE is finished. Okay, now it's Edge, but I don't have it for this. So I'm going to take the name of my admin account. Remember that in Azure AD you have this account here. In here, user. Remember that in my user I have only one account. Here, user. This is Azure AD. This is your IDP. Remember. And if I go in your user here, I will have only one user. Is this user here? Okay. This CloudRock 2028 at outlook.com. Okay. This is the only user I have. Okay. So if I go back here, I will type the name of my. Okay, I'm gonna go here in my calendar, and I will take my the account you created this morning. Remember. If you can mute your mic, sorry. So if I go here and I put my cloud here, I will type the name of my password. This is a global admin, but it can be any roles that if you are allowed to run manage some compute or what you want. Huh? And now I'm connected now on my tenant. You will see that I'm connected. I can see that it's B4. So it's B4. Let's see here if it's B4. Let's go on my overview here, and if I do here, I see it's B4, so that's okay. Because the problem is that if you are running PowerShell and you connect to a lot of tenants, you will have to go here on your folder, and sometime you will have to let me see, where is it? You will have to go here on your folder and on users here on the Fabrizio, you will have to go to Azure and remove all this. This is very important because this is the context, okay? So meaning that each time you connect to Azure, he will retrieve the context. So if you have multiple subscription, the best thing is, for example, to create new context, or because if you have several subscription, several tenant, it's several context, or you can remove all this, okay? This is the solution that you have. So I'm connected now, and we can see some example. Okay, so you can configure global setting if you want. So you can do the first thing that you do with PowerShell is this thing. So you configure the setting. Remember, like a clear AZ config. Okay, this is where okay you store everything like current user process. Okay, this is the environment, so you can update the config with some variable. Okay, so this is uh, what you can do when you run, for example, PowerShell. Okay, and so let's have some concept. Okay, so you can filter your command if you want. So for example, you can say, okay, I want, for example, all the command, or let's do that, all the command for where the name azvm. Okay, for I can do, for example, get az VM if I want here. If I run this command, he will run all my VM will be displayed here, and I can do the same thing with Visual Studio Code. Okay, remember that's the best solution. For that, I have something to tell you. The best extension for PowerShell, it's somebody that I really doing a super job. I don't know if you know this guy. If I tap PowerShell, one of the best extension that you can install, okay, it's the Justin Crowd. I don't know if you know this guy. Do you know this guy or not?
I have it already installed.
You installed this one, yeah?
Yeah.
Hey! So you have a 42 extension pack to help you in, you know, PowerShell, GitHub, everything. Okay. So, so it's like this when you have you do a new PowerShell, you can do run PowerShell. If you do .ps1, or you can use the language that you want here. Okay. You know, I have even the pets. Did you download the pets or not?
Nope.
You know what is the pets? It's a small dog and a cat with running here. Okay, it's not important. Okay, so let me deploy a VM, and after you will do the work for. Okay, you will do it. So I'm going to create a new VM. So the first thing to create a new VM is to do connect AZ account. This is the first thing you did. If you are in Cloud Shell, you don't have to do it because in Cloud Shell you are authenticated automatically, so you don't have to do connect AZ account. Okay, of course. So I'm here, and the first thing that I need is to create. So I'm going to create a new VM, and you will do it after. Okay, so new VM. So I will do first. I'm going to create a new resource group. So I'm going to do new AZ resource group. Okay, and I'm going to say that I want a VM. I'm going to say RG demo afternoon, and I will say the location. If you don't know the location, you can say get AZ location. And if you do get AZ location, he will give you all the location where you can create your VM. Okay, with AZ location. So if you want to have the location here or the display name, okay, I can say I want only the name of the location. Okay, so or maybe this is the location. Okay, so I can say select location and display name. Okay, so if I take this and I do a copy and I say please give me the, let's do like that, it's gonna be better. And I do that and I say get location, and let's say that I want to say um, it's going to be the location and display name. So I'm going to do select pipe, select location and display name. And that's better because now I have really the small name that I can put here. So it's going to be the location, and the display name is just the variable's name. Okay, so I can say I want to create that in France. They will be Belgium soon. Okay, so and I will do, so this is a parameter, this is a variable, parameter variable, and this is the noun and the verb and the command. So I'm going to run this one, and he create for me uh, uh, okay, okay, because this is just for me, because actually I cannot create in France. Okay, it doesn't matter. Sometime because it's an Azure pass. Okay, so sometime you cannot do all what you want. So let's create in EastUS. Okay, so now he created the dit. The next thing is I'm gonna get the credential. So let's do a CLS because I don't like the red here. So I'm gonna do like that. So I'm gonna now put in my variable credential, and I will do a get credential. Um, so let's run this one, and I think it's gonna be Bill, for example, and okay, that's it. Okay, so now I have my credential with optimized, and now I'm gonna use two solutions. To create a VM, I can do new AZ VM, and here I have all the parameter. So I have the location, the zone, okay? This is the first thing. So you can type the name of your resource group, you can type the name of your VM, you can type the location, blah, 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 okay? But this is not the best practice. The best practice is to use the hash table. Hash table is the best practice when you use a PowerShell in a best practice, okay? This is the best practice. This is very nice. Have you used before like this, the hash table?
No,
Hello?
no, no,
No?
no, no.
Do you like it? Nice, huh? Very powerful. Very powerful.
Yeah.
This is the name. Let's say tutorial VM. This is the location. The same one here. This is the image name. So I can type get AZ image name to be sure that in the location there is the image name, because sometime maybe in EastUS there is not this image name. The public IP, the credential, and the size. Okay, the size. If you want to see the size, you do get AZ VM size. And now for the location EastUS, I can now have all the size here, and the size is divided in CPU, number of hard disk. This must be the hard disk and the IOPS. Okay, so here if I go all up, EastUS have a lot, of course, because this is one of the biggest data center in the world. And here I have the number of core, the memory, the maximum disk count. So I can have 16 hard disk here, the OS disk size, and the resource disk size here. Okay, so if you must be sure that this one is here, okay? But I know it's here, so no problem. But it can change every day, not every day, but it can change. So I'm gonna run this hash table. I'm going to do that. And to see the result, if I go and here run this command, the result will be like that. See, it's very nice because you can see that it's like an object, okay, PS object. And so now I can create my VM with all the parameters. It's more readable, because otherwise you will have to create new AZ VM. You have to put resource group name, blah, 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 and you will have a very big line. So this is not very beautiful, very nice. It's the same result than this, huh? But hash table is better than. Do you see my screen? Yes. Yeah. Oh, it's okay for everybody.
Yes. Yes, yes.
So now
Yeah.
I can run this command, and so see, and he says upcoming breaking change in the command new AZVM. Starting in May 2023, the new AZVM call will deploy the trusted launch configuration by default. Okay, so trusted launch is with the BitLocker and also and also uh, boot protection, And he say that watch out. Okay, so you must know that when you're using PowerShell every day, you must read all what is here in orange, because it's not it's just a warning. Okay, so that's it. He created my VM. Just imagine how much it take time. It took time, maybe 40 seconds. Okay, so now when it's finished, I need to connect to my VM. So I can select now. So now that I have my new VM, I can use my .NET. Okay, if I do new VM, I do a lot of training on PowerShell. Okay, this is my really, and if I do dot, I have everything here. Okay, on my VM, I have the host group. I can have the OS profile of my VM if I want. I can have the name of my VM. So if I do OS profile here and I run it, he will give my OS profile of my VM. So this is the profile of my VM. Okay, for example. So I can select the computer name and the admin username. Okay. So for that, I can do that, but I want to select only the computer name and the admin username. So I can do that, and I can do a pipe, and I can say select computer name and admin username. But like this, I can now know the name of my VM, and now I can get the network configuration. So I can get the private IP address or the public IP address. Okay. So if I want to retrieve the information about my the network, I can do new VM, and I can say get AZ network interface. Okay, Azure network interface here. If I do that, I have too many information. Okay, so I have a lot of information, too many. It's two verbose here. Um, see, too many information here. So of course I need to scope, and same thing, uh, some improvement. So read everything every time there is something in orange. Don't say that you didn't read it, because so if I want to retrieve the for example the private IP address, it's here. Okay, so private IP address is here. Private, this is the public one, and the private is must be all up. Okay, IP configuration, and I must have the name and the private IP. This is the private one. Okay, private one. So if I want to retrieve the the IP configuration, what I can do is that I can go here, and I can do a pipe. I can do a select object IP configuration, and after I can do another pipe, and I can say please select the name and the IP address. Okay, so if I go here and I type this, so the complete is here, select object. Okay, and the name and the private IP address. So if I run this line, I will have, of course, the IP address. If I want to have now the public IP address, it's on another command. It's on my public IP address. Okay, so if I go at the end here and I type, for example, get a public IP address in a variable, remember that there is a public IP. If I run this one, there will be too much information. If I type public IP address, again, I have a lot of information here. Okay. Here, the public IP address is here. So if I want to select only the global, I have it here, so it's okay. Okay. But if you can also select the FQDN, okay, for that, what I can do is that, for example, if I want to have the public IP address, let's say that I want to do that. I will show you. I will do a copy here. And for example, I can say, let's get the this one. It's going to be the break. Sorry, I'm taking a lot of time, but so this is the resource group. So I can say take the IP address of the tutorial public IP address. This is the name of my resource. So if I run this command, I have my public here. So if I run this one, you can see that I have here my public, and I want to select the FQDN expression. Okay, FQDN is the FQDN of my VM. So if I run this one and I run this with command, he will he can select. Oh, sorry, it was this one. All this, of course. And if I run this, you will see that there is the FQDN name and on my public DNS. It's not a private DNS, public DNS. So now I can go and do MSTSC, and I can do a /v, and I can type this address here, okay, if I want. Okay, and if I do that, of course, it will work because see, it worked correctly. Okay, so this is with PowerShell. This is the first type of command that you can have. You can also do it in Bash. Okay, just to show you an example of Bash. Really, don't lose your time to use Bash. Okay, Bash is it's completely different. Completely different. Okay, so if you want to create um, a VM or something, if you want to create, for example, a VM, like for example, you want to create a Windows VM in Bash, Bash is completely different. Okay, so for example, if I want to create a VM in Bash, very quickly, okay, so Bash is another language. So if you go here, you type Bash here, Bash, okay. So if you confirm the switch in Bash, Bash you can also install it if you want on your computer. So if I want to install Bash on my computer, I go on my VM, for example, and I can run my IE Edge. Oh, Edge is good because it's a data center. That's good. And here I can, if I want, install. So confirm and start browsing, and I can go here, and I can even do download. So download Azure CLI. Okay, you can even download that. If you download Azure CLI, it's not nice really. Okay, you can also download here the last version. Okay, MSI. So you can just download it, or you can go here. It's completely different. For example, it starts by AZ something. For example, if I do tabulation 2 times, it will show me all the command that I can type after AZ. Okay, so for example, create a VM, create a storage. Okay, create a MariaDB. Okay, so if I want to create, for example, a resource group, it's AZ group. Okay, it's not a group in AD. Huh? So create, and here you have, for example, the name of your resource group. It's hyphen 2 times, and for example, demo rg blah blah, and I can do the location, and I can do tabulation 2 times, and if you do tabulation 2 times, he will very nice. So if you do only Bash, you can be very powerful, of course. So I can say East US again, or maybe West or up or West US. Let's say this one, and see, it's not the same thing, because it's like this. So this is to create a resource group, okay? And to create a VM, I will show you the example to create a VM, Linux VM with a SSH key, okay? This is an example where I can create an Ubuntu VM, and he will generate the SSH key on my computer, okay? So if I do enter, he's creating a new VM. Oh, my resource group is not good because my resource group is blah, blah, blah. And here, if I put my resource group here, so I'm going to change it. copy paste he doesn't like. Okay, and that's it. So he will create from me and he will generate here where I am. This is my pub, and after I need to use a putty to take and generate my private key and my public key. Okay, so this is how to do it. Okay, is it clear for everybody?